Hey everybody, how we doing? Sunnyvale Reject in the house from West Palm Beach on a windy, rainy, early Sunday morning. It's still dark outside. Guys, I got behind on my reading list. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read all the books that I said I was going to read in 2024. You guys know I was reading John Saul and some Christmas slashers, which I can't wait to talk to y'all about in my upcoming Christmas video. Okay, that'll probably be next week. But as I said, I got off track. Out of nowhere comes The Lost Book of Inky. I put down the John Saul for a second. I put down Secret Santa by D.E. Atkins just for a second. And, I was reading a few pages of this, and God, I couldn't help myself. I read it a third time. That's what those X's stand for. I've read it twice before, but this is an amazing story. And, maybe it has a little something to do with it getting closer to Christmas because we talk to our kids about belief in God and who, what, when, where God is, and then you got Santa, the Easter Bunny, and all these things to contend with because we teach our kids to believe in these things, out of a good intentioned nature, spirit, if you will. And then when it comes to God, we don't know exactly what to say because then they realize that all these other things aren't true. But the debate for me is not that there's a creator. There has to be a creator. This is not by accident, y'all. But is that creator a spiritual force, or is it flesh and blood extraterrestrial? I tend to think that based on the evidence, based on the massive, massive amounts of incredible ancient structures that we just couldn't do because we can't build them today, that there had to be some interaction with some beings that were technologically advanced. Well, in this book here, Zecharia Sitchin addresses that. He spent decades on the Earth Chronicles, which was the 12th planet, Divine Encounters, Genesis Revisited, books like that. But the one thing that was missing was the story from the point of view of the gods, which is what this is. And it takes place over 12 Sumerian clay tablets. And you know what? Let me shut up. Let me read you something from the back of the book. This will make it clearer. In his previous works, Sitchin compiled the complete story of the Anunnaki's impact on human civilization from fragments scattered throughout Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, Assyrian, Hittite, Egyptian, Canaanite, and Hebrew sources. And this dude spoke those languages too. I'm telling you, man, this guy had it going on. He did a great interview with Jordan Maxwell back in the day. Missing from these accounts, however, was the perspective of the Anunnaki themselves, those who from heaven to earth fell. What was life like on their own planet? What motives propelled them to settle on Earth, and what drove them from their new home? Convinced of the existence of an actual autobiography of Enki, who Earth is named after, Ea, Lord Earth, a lost book that held the answers to these questions, the author began his search for evidence, and through exhaustive research of primary sources, y'all, that's vital, primary sources, and using actual discovered portions of the ancient text as scaffolding. All my teachers out there in YouTube land, they know exactly what scaffolding means. He has here recreated the memoirs of Enki, the leader of these first astronauts. Supposedly, they lived on a planet that took 3,600 years to orbit the sun, these Anunnaki, and they were highly, highly technologically advanced, way more than us, probably 500,000 years more so than us, right? And their planet basically froze and burned, and also through technological advance, they had destroyed their own atmosphere, according to these texts, right? And so they came to Earth looking for gold, and they found it in the Persian Gulf. But the work was very tough, and these guys were not just laborers, right? They were astronauts, they were scientists and that kind of thing. So one of them, Enki, said, man, forget all this. We can't do this. This is too much work. What we've got to do is invent or create a Lulu, a primitive worker, an Adapa, a Damu, an Adam, right? And so they saw an ape on the tree line. And what they did was genetically engineer their DNA with the DNA of the hominid that was on the tree line. And damn, boom, here we are. And he goes on to say that, they were running stuff until the deluge. And they were all told not to tell the humans about the deluge because we would flip out and storm their spaceports, y'all. They had words for this. They had words for a 2-stage rocket called Din Gur. But if we stormed the spaceports, nobody would make it off this rock alive. So in their assembly of gods, they said, don't tell the humans, so they can get away and nobody knows of their plan and that kind of thing. But Noah and his family, who is in the Sumerian, his name is Zeusudra. He was the son of this god Enki through an earthling. So that's why Noah and his line was saved. So think about it, y'all. We all come from gods. All of us, man. That's incredible. I know some of you guys have pondered that before. But, you know, after the deluge, that's when the new covenant comes in and they say, okay, no more will we treat men like shit, really. We'll give them all the tools they need for civilization and kind of turn them loose, and they will inherit the earth. The story is amazing, y'all, and this is mythology. This is taken from clay tablets from, you know, ancient Sumerian cuneiform, you know, found all over the place. But, you know, in Ashurbanipal's library, there was 25,000 of them found, I think, something like that. And this guy could decipher the cuneiform. And as far as I know, it went straight into English. It was a primary translation straight into English, no other languages, so there was a lot less chance of corruption and loss of meaning through translation. He wrote, like I said, a bunch of other books about the Earth Chronicles, detailing everything he discovered in these ancient texts, man. And I'm telling you, the story is amazing. But here's a companion to it, too. It's called the Anunnaki Chronicles. Guys, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're religious or, you know, you're not religious, you don't believe in God, you believe in extraterrestrials, you know, life on other planets or what, because this will get you closer to the truth. You know, I mean, who are you going to believe? Some dudes that sit behind a desk at Brown University, or the people who were there? You have to trust the people who were there, and it's up to us to decipher their language. And I'm not saying that they lacked the words to communicate effectively. You know, there's just a lot of time has passed. Things have changed. And, you know, let's say when one kingdom falls, another god or king or pharaoh would take over, and then they would change things. Like when Marduk took over, he became the god of this and the god of that. And things changed from, you know, Eric, for example, which is in the Bible, to Babylon, which meant the gateway of the gods. He wanted to keep his enemies close. And that's probably where that saying comes from. But check this out. During the deluge, they're watching Earth being destroyed, and they're actually lamenting us. They realize that they kind of cared about us as they're watching the floodwaters destroy Earth, and they're crying. There's an interesting story about that exact same thing from, speaking about Inanna Ishtar, who was a bad chick on this planet, and she's probably still worshipped today. But guys, I just had a wild hair this morning. I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I do have a Christmas video coming up where we're going to talk about, you know, Christmas slashers, scary horror books you should read to get you into a, let's say, different type of Christmas spirit. But it's all in good fun, really. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. Sometimes I go there, man, because as humans, we should be able to think and talk about anything we want with respect to each other, you know. This is a great community, and I've always thanked you guys for allowing me to be a part of it. And I hope you feel like this is a good, safe space where, you know, you can say some crazy shit if you want to, and nobody's going to judge you. And in fact, I respond personally to every comment. I take it to heart, and I thank you all. But look, if you're looking to educate yourself beyond belief and strip the wool and the blinders from your face and see the truth for what it really is, you will see that mankind, man, our past is glorious. Look at the ruins of Pumapunku and what's the other one? Tiwanaku in Bolivia. Look at Baalbek in Lebanon. Don't just look at the Great Pyramid in Egypt. Look at how it's aligned to star systems and true north, and how it's a 365-day solar calendar. How can they expect us to believe that those folks back then knew all of that? And even if they did, why would they build in the most difficult way possible? And it's because they were brilliant, and they had technology, and it was very easy to them. All right, I'm shutting up. Pardon me. I love you guys very much. I appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for everything. I got a Christmas video coming up. I hope you enjoy it. Check out some of my other videos if you've never checked out the old Sunnyvale Reject. Stay cool, guys. Keep reading. The sky's the limit.